Bernie Sanders could end up losing the nomination to Hillary Clinton, even if he wins more delegates in primaries and caucuses. That's because of superdelegates. They're the party insiders who can support any candidate no matter what the voters decide. And they can change their minds anytime they want. Associated Press crunched the numbers now, and after Iowa and New Hampshire, Senator Sanders is up by 4 when it comes to delegates that the states award. But look what happens when you add in the superdelegates. Secretary Clinton jumps way ahead, 481 to 55. Let's bring in Stephen Olemacher now. He's one of the 2 reporters who broke the story for the Associated Press. Stephen, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
These superdelegates, though around for a long time, are a mysterious thing to a lot of people. I know because I get a lot of questions about them. It would appear to a casual observer the deck is stacked, no?
Well, the superdelegates have been around for a while, since 1984, and there's 712 of them. They are the Democratic Party establishment. They are members of Congress, party officials, and members of the Democratic National Committee.
And when you add up the numbers, your report found it's going to be very tough for anyone whose name isn't Clinton in this election.
Sure. The number of superdelegates adds up to about 30% of the number of delegates you need to win the nomination. And right now, Hillary Clinton's getting 96% of the support of the superdelegates who've actually come out and endorsed someone. Now, as you said before, they can change their minds. They can change their minds all the way up to the convention. But if they all stick with her and she continues to get overwhelming support, Bernie Sanders would have to win all of the remaining primaries by a landslide just to catch her.
Has there been a reaction to this report from the Sanders campaign, and if so, what?
Yes, there's been actually two responses. One from the campaign itself. They're very subdued about this. Bernie Sanders has a long-time Democratic strategist as his top strategist, and they say, look, this is it's early. We hope to win primaries and caucuses, and by doing that, show these superdelegates that Bernie Sanders is a viable candidate and that he can win in the general election. Their hope is that they can win over their hearts and minds by winning primaries and caucuses. On the other side, though, he has a lot of young, very passionate supporters, and some of those people are very angry. In fact, they feel like the system is rigged and stacked against Bernie Sanders, and some of them have been reaching out to some of these superdelegates who are supporting Clinton, and the exchanges have been a little bit nasty at times.
I wonder if I would suspect, actually, that your report would add fuel to that "it's all rigged against us" fire.
Yes. In fact, when I talked to some of the Clinton superdelegates, they said that they received nasty emails. I talked to this one woman from Indiana. She says, look, I've been in the trenches since I was 20. And some of these young kids, they've probably never even voted in an election. I don't need them telling me who to vote for.
How surprised were you by your own findings in your research?
We were pretty surprised, not so much that a majority of these folks would back Clinton, but if you go back 8 years ago, so many more are endorsing someone early in the campaign. Clinton, as you'll recall, she was the presumed frontrunner heading into the 2008 Democratic primaries, and she started off with the lead over Obama. But she only led him by about 100 superdelegates. So the fact that so many of them are committing so early, is a bit surprising.
Have any said to you in your reporting whether, should the tide change, as it has in so many areas, would they be likely to change over to the will of the people?
Well, a lot of them have said, look, let's just wait and see. It's too early to start talking about things like that. Some of them are very loyal to Hillary Clinton. If you look back 8 years ago, the tide did turn, and after Barack Obama started winning primaries and caucuses, many of these superdelegates did switch over to Obama. But keep in mind, Barack Obama had a very important advantage over Bernie Sanders. Obama's a Democrat. And he was, he's a Democratic senator from Illinois. He'd been a Democrat for a long time, and he'd made friends with a lot of these people and worked on campaigns. Bernie Sanders is an independent. He's not a member of the Democratic Party. He calls himself a Democratic socialist. So a lot of these folks, we go back to this. This is the establishment. These are people who've worked on Democratic campaigns for years and even decades. And Bernie Sanders has not been with them and may not have the same kind of relationships that Barack Obama had, and certainly not the kind of relationships that Hillary Clinton has.
I was reminded the other day that in the primary, it was not Barack Obama who won the majority of the popular vote. Not at all. Not the first time.
Well, it depends. If you look at, it depends on how you do the votes, because some of the votes from the caucuses are not quite clear. The Democrats have a couple of caucuses where they don't actually count the popular vote.
But
and he won those. The
lead in delegates was certainly what won it for now President Obama, because that's what the rules are.
Well, yes, and actually, after he won it, because after Super Tuesday, I believe he won like 11 contests in a row, and that's when the superdelegates started coming over to him.
Steve Olemacher, it's a mighty interesting article, Washington reporter for the Associated Press. Thanks for it.
All right, thank you.